Let's start in New England. They made 4 fantasy impact signings. Well, I don't know how impactful they're going to be, but they made signings with skill players, so let's talk about them. 2 tight ends, Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, both going to New England. Nelson Aguilar now in New England. Kendrick Bourne now in New England. Okay, let's just start with tight end. Henry and Jonnu. Okay. Are they going to ask any of these guys to block?
Yeah. So, well, there's a couple things here. Look, and I'm reading it off because I have the stats here. So Jimmy Eisenberg tweeted out when I was looking it up, so he saved me the trouble. But Cam Newton averaged 118 targets to Greg Olsen from 2012 to 2016. All right, 118 targets. Well, obviously that's not enough if you split it between the two of them, and even if you gave somebody 60-40. But the point being there is to take it further, is what your next question is, and saying about the blocking. As I look this up, and Hunter Henry has yearly been better than Jonnu Smith as a blocker, according to PFF. His worst season is close to the best season of Jonnu. So if you say that, you assume one of the two is going to be able to block more than the other. That's Hunter Henry. On the flip side of it, Jonnu's excitement that we saw is, so he has 1.59 yards per route run to 1.35 for Henry. On the flip side, Smith ran 18.8 routes while Henry ran 32.4. So Henry's coming down, but where it was Jonnu was going up a lot because he could have had all those targets. He could have been on the field running routes a hell of a lot more, and those yards per route run. We were excited for it. He should probably run a few more than Henry, but now I wouldn't be surprised if their year-end numbers are very similar, and from a week-to-week standpoint, it's going to be infuriating. Like I would say they finish as low-end tight end ones, but I don't want either of them.
Well, it just strikes me that New England is making moves on defense. They're going to get a lot of defensive starters back who opted out from a year ago. And with Cam Newton back at quarterback, this just strikes me as a supremely run-heavy offense. And then you're just not going to have the overall target share coming from Cam because he's just not going to throw the ball that much. Now, this could completely change by the time the NFL draft comes around, and maybe they opt into a different situation under center, maybe after week 4 or something like that, or hell, maybe even to start the season. But you'd have to think that both these guys are probably outside the top 10 in this offense.
Definitely. Even if the situation was a different quarterback, this isn't going to happen. But even if you brought in Deshaun Watson or something like that, well, obviously this isn't a team that's rumored for him really, but hell, if they would have been the ones that signed Fitzpatrick when we get ready to talk about him, even if you give him a quarterback situation that passes more, runs fewer times than Cam Newton and this offense as a whole, and you could say they'll pass a little bit more. We've seen Cam Newton pass. We've seen Cam Newton reach the high 3,000s and 30 touchdowns, and I don't think he's going to ever get back to that. Cam Newton as a whole, I do believe when he started back last year and how the COVID impacted him, he went to a new team. He was learning a new playbook. He missed all those weeks. I had Brian McFadden on the podcast who was talking about Antonio Brown when he signed, wouldn't show up till December, that Gronkowski wasn't going to show up until the middle of the season, all those type of things, because there's a big impact of being able to practice and actually practice with a team and how the rookies were going to come along slow. And we saw all of that. All that came to fruition because of time with the team. So I do believe Cam to a degree. Do I think he's going to be great? No. But can he pass for 3,300 yards and 23 touchdowns, somewhere around there? Sure. But now when we haven't even gotten to the wide receivers, there's just too many pieces here. Like the cliche of too many mouths to feed. This is actually when it holds true. Just Cam Newton, even at his best, is not going to throw for 4,000 yards. And even if we had somebody throw for 4,000 yards, we would still be hesitant of both tight ends in a week-to-week basis. So top 10, probably not. Fringy top 10, low-end tight end 1. You could see maybe Jonnu more likely than Henry, and both of them be around there. But again, I'm going to go back to the point of it could be 1 week Jonnu, next week Henry, next week Henry, next week Jonnu, next week neither of them, and that's the problem.